Hello everyone, Cheryl here. Thanks for stopping by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to make this beautiful card using the Beauty of Friendship stamp and coordinating die set. The colors that I've chosen are Mary Merlot, Mossy Meadow, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake. So let's get started. For our card base, we're going to start with a piece of crumb cake, and I have this cut to 6 3/8 by 5 1/2, and we're going to score at 2 1/8. So what that means is you're basically going to have a standard A2 side folding card, but I'm cutting the front flap off by about 50%. That's where we get the 2 1/8 measurement from. So fold that, and we'll have a cute little fun fold base to start with. And I'm just going to give it a good press with my bone folder. And next we're going to cut the piece of Early Espresso. And for that I have cut down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And that's going to layer on top of that front flap. And then for the inside piece, it's just 4 inches by 5 1/4. And that's going to go inside. And that's using basic white thick. So that's how the card's going to layer. Now I'm going to do some embossing with the Stitch Greenery die, which I just love. It's so beautiful. Watch how this comes out. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot, listen to me. I'm going to grab my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine and run that through and show you what comes out. It's really pretty. And by the way, this Stitched Greenery die is available in the annual catalog on page 83. And it's perfect for all seasons. I think it's going to take you through the year. It's just a lovely die that I would strongly recommend. Next, we're going to use the Stitch So Sweetly dies to create a couple more elements for the card. This is using Mossy Meadow, and it's the second largest rectangle die in the set. And then and that just does a pretty little scallop border around the edge. And then we're going to use the largest fancy label die from the same set, and this is going to hold our sentiment. So we're going to run that through and get all of our die cutting done up front, with the exception of the 2 trees that are going to come later, which I'll show you how to do. So there's our pieces, and we're going to put that aside. And I think what we're going to do next is some stamping. So I'm going to grab, oh no, I've got some more paper to cut. So this is the pattern from the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper, which is a celebration item right now. So you can't purchase this paper. You can earn it with buying points. So for every $50 you spend, you can earn a free item from the catalog, and the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper is one of those items that I chose, which I have stocked up on because I love it so much. So now we're going to do some stamping. I have some Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to take the tree and stamp it, and then I did stamp off, yeah. So I'm going to make 2 trees. One's going to be full strength, one is going to be second generation stamping. And I'm going to come in with my crumb cake, and this is the background stamp for the leaves. There's 2 different stamps in this set, and this one is for the background. And then there's another coordinating stamp that you can use to do additional leaf texture, but I chose to go with the little small splotchy stamp right here. And I just liked how it gave a little pop of color without being super color dense, if that makes sense. So I've got some Mossy Meadow. I'm just going to add this on top of that crumb cake layer and just randomly put some pops of color to, basically we're assuming these are little splashes of fall leaf colors in the trees. And then I'm going to switch over to the Mary Merlot, and I'm going to add that pop of red. I did try adding some orange and yellow, and I thought it got too busy looking, and so I just thought this was sweet with just the 2 colors on top of the crumb cake. So that's how they turned out. Now we're going to stamp the sentiment. So I'm going to pull in that label die that we just die cut, and the sentiment I chose is "Friendships Refresh the Soul." What a beautiful sentiment to send to somebody. I just really loved that. And this is done in Early Espresso. And you have to, and I'm off centering it because the tree is going to layer on top of this sentiment. So I'm pushing the actual sentiment off to the side a bit. And so that part is done. Let's see, what am I going to do next here? I think I'm going to die cut the trees. Yes. So I'm going to grab the die that cuts out that top portion, and I'm going to do a partial die cut because I don't want it to chop off the trunk of the tree. So I don't have it in camera very well, but basically what I'm doing is I'm lining up the die at the very edge of my cutting plate so that it doesn't cut all the way through. And you'll see me do this in just a second. I hope it shows up for you. It's not tricky to do. But you just have to make sure you're lined up right at the edge, and you don't run it all the way through so that, well, if you did run it all the way through, technically it wouldn't cut. But I get nervous about being that accurate with lining it up, so I always stop just short of it, and then I fussy cut out the rest of it. So here I am running it through, and I'm stopping and then pulling it back out, and you'll see that it die cut just the top of the tree, which is exactly what I wanted. I don't know why they don't have a die that is for the entire tree, but they didn't. So I'm going to do that again on the second tree. And then what you're going to see me do is just cut out the trunk. You know, you could have fussy cut the whole thing. It probably would have been just as fast, but I thought I would give an opportunity to show you how you can do a partial die cut with this. So I'm going to set that aside, and I think I'm going to, in very high speed, cut out the trunks of these two trees, and then I think we'll be ready to assemble our card. So here I am. Yep. Wish I could cut that fast in real life. Wouldn't that be fun? I'd be fussy cutting everything. Okay, so our trees are cut, and now I believe we're going to get ready to assemble this card, which comes together pretty quickly. And we're going to add this is for the inside of the card base. I've just cut a little strip of that pattern paper to accent the inside. You don't have to do this step. You could stamp a little, tree, or if you didn't want to put that piece of paper in there. I just thought it tied it together nicely. And you notice I didn't trim the edges. I just folded them over. I do it both ways sometimes. I like to fold them over sometimes because then you don't really get any lifting of that extra. If you don't get glue all the way to the edge, sometimes the corners will lift, and this prevents that from happening. So I'm just going to glue this down into the center of the card, and then make a little eraser of a mark I had. And then I'm going to glue this down. Now, the wet glue can sometimes seep through those holes from the die cutting, just so you know. So if you wanted to use a dry adhesive, like the Stampin' Seal or the Stampin' Seal Plus, that would probably be good too. But I did have some glue kind of ooze through the top of that. And I didn't worry too much about it because I'm covering up with this piece of paper anyway. So again, here's another piece of the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper that I'm just adhering down to this early espresso layer. And the next layer is going to be the Mossy Meadow rectangle, scalloped rectangle. And again, I haven't lifted anything up with dimensionals yet. I'm just gluing everything straight down. The sentiment piece is going to be popped up with some dimensionals. So next I'm going to tie a little ribbon around the card base, and I'm using the basic linen thread, which is available in the annual catalog right now too. I think it comes as a 2-pack, but I have combined my thread together. So what I'm going to do is cut one piece the length I think I need it to be, and then I'm going to cut a second piece because I want to have a double strength bow. And so then I just cut that the same length and put them together and then tie a bow. Easier said than done sometimes. And I like to tie my bows upside down. I don't know why, I feel like it just helps them lay better when you turn the card back around upside right. And then this is my little tweezers that clamps the bow down in the center for me while I'm tying. It works as a third hand for me, which I just love. And I can link those tweezers below too if you like. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell those, but I think they should. So just trim off the excess and then kind of adjust it where you want it to go. And then my tree is also going to this is my second generation stamping tree, so it's the lighter shade. and that's going to go in the background, and then that full strength tree is going to go on top of the sentiment like so. But first I'm going to put some dimensionals on super high speed. I think I put that up to like 8 or 10 times the speed. So you'll see I used my Stampin' Take Your Pick tool, to take off the adhesive backing, and that's really handy too. Okay, so I've got my sentiment going down right on top of the bow, right on top of the tree, and then the second tree is going to need some dimensionals along the top of it, and then I'm going to add glue to the tree trunk. And I think I end up adding another very small dimensional at the bottom. Let's see if I do that or not. I can't remember. I've made like 5 of these cards already, so some of them I didn't do that too. And yeah, I think I am going to grab a tiny one and carefully place it on there, pull off the backing and set that down so that it's all level. Then we're going to come in with some gold enamel glitter dots. And I have like 4 packages of these because I love them so much. They're great for not just Christmas. They have a little bit of glitter to them, and they just add some shine. And normally I stop at 3, but for some reason I was compelled to add more. I think I put 1 more on. Yep. Right there. Isn't this pretty, you guys? I just love how it turned out. I have sent mine out already. This was my team swap card for the month, and they should be arriving at my team's door very soon. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I hope you take an opportunity to remake it or case it if you'd like. And if you do, tag me. I'd love to see it. All right, that's it for me. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.